Now, This Week with Bob Mueller on News 2.
This week,
I just don't want anyone else to, die.
protesters again descend on the state capitol demanding GOP lawmakers act to stop gun violence. Hey, no, assault weapons have to go. The gun violence debate is growing in strength around the country.
Fox has admitted to telling lies about Dominion that caused enormous damage to my company.
Fox News caves, admits it lied, and settles a defamation lawsuit with the Dominion Voting Machine Company for nearly $800 million. More in our This Week cover story. About a dozen candidates are running for mayor of Nashville. Tonight, hear from at-large Metro Council member and former nonprofit executive Sharon Hurt. Hello again and welcome to another edition of This Week. For the next several weeks, we will be hearing from the nearly dozen or more candidates seeking to become Nashville's next mayor. We begin with Metro Council member at large and former nonprofit executive Sharon Hurt. But first, a look at the week of marches and protests here in Nashville and around the country seeking an end to gun violence.
Coffins headed to the Capitol. Monday marks 3 weeks since the deadly Nashville shooting at the Covenant School. And today, thousands joined a Moral Monday rally and march to the state capitol. We caught up with organizers ahead of time.
Forget Democrat, forget Republican, left versus right. How does what you're doing line up with our deepest moral values?
The last 3 weeks have seen a string of different forms of protest, including children marching to the governor's residence with letters they wrote asking for gun reform.
I just don't want anyone else to, die.
I want to be a scientist, and I can't do that if we're busy with precautions about someone coming into our school.
We can't afford to have any more tragedies.
Though gun violence is the focus of Monday's ranker, organizers say it goes deeper.
Well, not only are we seeing an effort to put more guns in the street rather than ban assault weapons, even in the face of our babies dying and their tears still being heard from their graves, these state legislatures are refusing to pass Medicaid.
But the question still persists. Will any gun legislation pass, as this week is expected to be the last of session? Governor Bill Lee has urged the General Assembly to pass an order of protection law, but chose not to push a bill himself. Reporters then asked him today, what is he doing?
Working really, really hard. Have been since the day we started talking about this. Worked on it over the weekend with teams and with legislators and with folks who recognize that now is the right time to get that accomplished.
And we won't be. Instead of protesters, caskets sitting inside and outside the Capitol.
We are tired of the sounds of sirens in our community. The scripture tells us we must speak out for those who cannot speak out for themselves.
Religious leaders praying for change. It's the reality of gun violence brought straight to lawmakers.
We can no longer wait to buy another casket and bury another loved one. We can no longer wait on our children screaming, why not help us now?
One of the people pushing for stricter gun laws, a Covenant mother whose son lost classmates in the shooting.
I worked in pediatric oncology for 13 years. I held kids in my arms as they died way too many times. Nothing compared to the scream of that mom.
It is a form of mental illness when you can hear this kind of pain and still be more interested in guns than you are in saving lives.
Inside, Representative Justin Jones trying to bring a casket into the chamber when he was stopped outside the door after being told no props can be taken inside. The crowd erupting in song. Last week, Governor Bill Lee asked the legislature to create a law allowing judges to take guns away from dangerous people, but time is running out. The session could end this week, and so far, no bill.
Work together to get a piece of legislation that sets aside politics and that actually moves forward with what needs to be done for the people. That is the goal, and we're working really hard to get there.
Students and parents from across the country marched down the National Mall toward the U.S. Capitol on Monday, calling on Congress to end gun violence.
Stop
doing nothing stop the NRA from dictating policy.
Keone Amaro lost her brother 25 years ago to gun violence at school. She's asking Congress to ban assault weapons.
No one needs an assault weapon. Nobody needs an AR-15.
Gun control advocates, including Mark House with the Brady campaign, say it's time for Congress to act.
Enough of the hypocrisy. Enough of the politics, enough of the excuses, enough of the thoughts and prayers, enough of the lockdown drills.
But passing any legislation through the Republican-controlled House is going to be difficult, as Republicans insist reducing gun violence is not about the weapons.
Former Vice President Mike Pence said at the NRA convention on Friday that the focus needs to be on mental health.
Support law enforcement, protect our schools, institutionalize the obviously mentally ill.
South Carolina Republican Nancy Mace criticized her party's silence on guns on Fox News Sunday, but says both sides need to find common ground.
It doesn't have to be complicated, but we need to show leadership on sensitive issues because these are issues that motivate our constituencies and voters.
In Washington, I'm Anna Warnicki.
Tennessee Senators Marsha Blackburn and Bill Hagerty, along with Tennessee Congressman Diana Harshbarger, Chuck Fleischmann, and John Rose, threw their support and endorsement behind twice impeached, indicted former President Donald Trump for another term. 7th District Congressman Mark Green also backs Trump, named a member of Trump's Tennessee federal leadership team. In her endorsement, Senator Blackburn said, under President Trump, our economy was booming, gas prices were low, and inflation was under control. Our border was secure, our adversaries feared us, and our military was strong. Senator Hagerty said, it is my honor to give my wholehearted endorsement to Donald J. Trump to be the next president of the United States. Congressman John Rose said, now more than ever, America needs a strong leader with a track record we can trust. I am endorsing Donald Trump for president in 2024. Congressman Diana Harshbarger said, Trump had a proven track record of putting America first. He has done it before, and he can do it again. And Congressman Chuck Fleischmann said, most importantly, President Trump put Americans first. I believe Americans deserve that again. Now to our This Week cover story. Fox News agreed to pay nearly $800 million to end a lawsuit over alleged lies about the 2020 election. Here is Justin Finch.
A surprise early finish to what was set to be a landmark trial. Dominion Voting Systems agreeing to settle with Fox News for less than half of the $1.6 billion in damages it was seeking.
Today's settlement of $787,500,000 represents vindication and accountability. Lies have consequences.
Dominion accusing Fox of recklessly and repeatedly airing baseless claims that its voting machines were rigged against former President Trump and in favor of Joe Biden in the 2020 election. Claims Dominion CEO John Poulos insists Fox knew were false.
Fox has admitted to telling lies about Dominion that caused enormous damage to my company, our employees, and the customers that we serve. Nothing can ever make up for that.
Fox News releasing a statement saying, in part, we acknowledge the court's rulings finding certain claims about Dominion to be false, but said this settlement reflects Fox's continued commitment to the highest journalistic standards. The statement stopping short of an apology, but a Dominion attorney saying the settlement essentially amounts to one.
We got them to be held accountable. I believe it is the largest settlement in the history of any defamation suit by a factor of several.
The deal means jurors won't hear testimony from primetime hosts like Laura Ingraham.
Disturbing irregularities have been found.
Ingraham broadcasting those false Dominion claims, but off camera saying former Trump lawyer Sidney Powell, who spread election misinformation, is a bit nuts. Sorry, but she is. Fox owner Rupert Murdoch also raising concerns, writing in an email, really crazy stuff and damaging. The historic settlement bringing Dominion's 2-year fight against Fox to an end. Justin Finch, ABC News, Wilmington, Delaware.
And stay with us. This Week continues in a moment.